Today, I want to share with you three mistakes that I have made in the past with meditation. And I've learned from them. And I bet these are three mistakes that you may be making right now. And these things we need to avoid because they keep our practice very mental. They keep us in doubt and worry. So, by avoiding these three things that I'm about to share with you today, you can keep your practice more true to what it's supposed to be. And so that you continue to make effortless progress. Now, this is a video about meditation. So rather than being lost in your mental interpretations about what is being said or what is about to be said, be here with me, be present while the video is actually happening. During the duration of this video, don't be scattered in other things. You will absorb the message of this video far more if you, rather than waiting to practice meditation later, you are here, present, aware, with me, with no need to mentally grasp, mentally break apart what is going to be said. Just be here. Let the message arise. For some reason, you have clicked on this video today. For some reason, this video has found you. So allow this message to arise in your experience without being distracted. And that is one of the main objectives of meditation, to help us go from such a distracted, scattered state, taking that attention away from passing experiences inward towards our true self. So it starts here and now, not later, not tomorrow, not after you have gotten the information from this video. No, here, now. Let nothing matter for a moment. Even ideas about your spiritual journey and spiritual progress, put aside for a moment and be here now. This is the prerequisite for meditation. So this itself, this little practice that we are running, is itself very, very beneficial. So with that, let's continue. The first thing that I want to talk to you about, a mistake to avoid. When we start practicing, we practice with an expectation. In the beginning, especially, when we meditate, we want something crazy to happen to us. We want something big, like a big epiphany, a moment of realization, or waves of bliss, a mystical experience. I used to be very, very jealous of people who used to describe their mystical experiences in meditation and big moments. And in the beginning of my journey, I used to really seek those things. And sometimes I even felt that because I'm not getting those things, that perhaps I'm not making progress. As I matured in my meditation practice, I came to see how lucky I was that I didn't have those moments of big epiphanies or mystical experiences because they can often be a trap. The truth is, those big moments and revelations or blissful, peaceful, mystical experiences, they are pleasant while they are here, but they also pass. They are impermanent experiences and therefore not of much value to you in your practice. Meditation is about understanding the nature of that which sees the arising and passing of transient, changeful experiences. It's about being the changeless awareness rather than constantly seeking the next experience. So, my advice, something that will really simplify your practice, don't sit with an expectation. Don't chase bliss or peace or a big mind shattering realization. The truth is, if you're lucky, your practice will unfold, unravel gradually, little by little. The confines, the boundaries of your mind will expand little by little. It's not that you will sit in meditation and every time something great must happen. If you expect that, then most of the times you will come out disappointed and feeling like you did something wrong. Whereas in truth, most sessions don't have anything extraordinary. It is more so like a practice, a training, where actually you may fail most of the time, but underneath the surface of your perception, you're making progress. Things are becoming clearer. So with meditation, see it like that. In the very sit down practice that you do that day, like even while watching this video right now, don't wait for something extraordinary. Don't need anything to happen. The more you can let go of wanting anything to happen, needing anything to change, the more you will actually understand the essence of meditation. Another thing I will add with this is don't look constantly for, am I making progress? Am I making progress? What is changing? What is changing? It's not about the things that must change through your meditation practice. It's how you see, how you understand yourself and your experience that gradually transforms and shifts through consistent practice. And again, this will be gradual. For most part, it is so like underneath the surface of your perception until it starts becoming obvious to you. So I always say in meditation, don't expect anything. Don't want anything to happen. Don't even feel like it's your responsibility to make your next discovery or revelation occur. Your job is to practice. The rest is life's job, God's job. So leave that to that which is responsible. You take care of what you are responsible for, which is committing to your practice, showing up, and doing your best. If you just stay consistent with this, the rest will keep taking care of itself. Show up, practice, and don't expect anything. This will keep your practice so simple, and you will not get caught up in unnecessary traps because people who go through many mystical experiences and see colors and lights and all that, they are the ones who then often get caught chasing those experiences again and again. Then their whole meditation practice becomes about recreating the pleasure that they once achieved through meditation, whereas that is not the point of meditation at all. So many people who get caught in those traps, they just once again get hooked into illusion and they totally forget about truth. They forget about why they're doing the practice in the first place, is to discover their real nature. So, this is one of the first crucial things that I wanted to discuss with you today. The second one that we're going to talk about is something that I've definitely felt a lot of in the past, especially when I began my meditation journey, is constantly worrying and wondering and thinking about if you're doing the practice correctly. Now, regardless of what practice you do, as you know, on this channel, we talk primarily about self-inquiry meditation, which is awareness of being, which is learning to turn away from all objects, all experiences, towards the seer of those experiences. It is a self-awareness, awareness of the self that is aware. Now, this may be subtle to you, especially when you come across it, right? The first time you hear this is very subtle, this is very new. But even other meditations, let's say you're practicing awareness of breath, awareness of body sensations, you may start your practice. And actually, you may be well into your practice. Maybe you've been practicing for months, but you may constantly have this concern. Am I doing this right? Am I practicing correctly? This concern keeps us bound because it keeps us in the mind. And it actually keeps us away from just practicing. You know, one thing I wish to say to you is meditation is not about how well you do it. It's about effort, right? Making your genuine best effort at practicing the pointer to whatever degree you understand it. And your understanding of it may not be great at the time you hear the advice at the pointer. But to your best understanding, if you apply that, it will continue to become clearer and clearer as you remain consistent with it. So effort and consistency are the main important things, not how well you actually and successfully you actually practice. Again, the results are not up to you. But if you keep showing up and you keep trying and you keep practicing what you are learning, you practice with great devotion. And even though you may fail 90% of the time and you're lost in thoughts 90% of the time, but if you just keep trying, those gaps, those windows of when you are, aware, present, they will increase. They will increase and become more and more effortless, more and more boundless, more and more natural. Whereas, notice, when you're caught in thinking about, am I doing this correctly? You're just lost in thought, which is the opposite of meditation. You see? If you keep wondering, am I doing this correctly? Am I doing this correctly? You are directing your attention to thought and reinforcing personal identity, ego. Whenever you find yourself wondering, am I doing this correctly? Simply bring your attention back to your anchor, whether it is body sensation or the breath or awareness itself. To this, just this, you're going to do your best with. You may only bring it back for 1 second. Once again, your attention goes outward to thoughts. Oh, but am I doing this? You see, am I doing this correctly exists on the level of concepts, thought. Your job is to direct your attention, okay? Not to think if you're doing it right or think about how you are not doing well or if this was a successful meditation or not. Your job is to direct your attention. For the duration of your practice, let go of thinking. Let go of even interest in thoughts. That includes the thought, am I doing this correctly? Just work at the level of attention. You're silent looking. You see? Discern between attention and thinking. They are not the same. Thinking is interpreting, describing, judging, mental commentary. Attention is just bare seeing. Meditation is learning to direct your bare seeing without thought, right? Wordless seeing, that's attention. Directing it towards your anchor, whether that's the breath, sensation, or awareness itself. If you're unsure about, which one of these practices you should do, I will link 2 videos down below in the description for after you're done watching this video, where I'll talk a little bit about both meditations, sensation meditation and breath, and self-inquiry, which is awareness of awareness. I also run a free course on self-inquiry meditation, which, if this calls to you, awareness of awareness, which is a very direct meditation, straight to the source, then I encourage you to take that up. You can join our free community down below. There you can access the course for free, and you can also interact with our community, ask questions, and so on. So that's very beneficial. Make sure to join that after you watch this video. But yes, so don't keep worrying, am I doing this correctly? It will only keep you away from the actual practice. Whereas if you just keep on doing your best to return to what you feel the practice is, what you feel you are being taught, then even if you're doing it incorrectly, naturally life will correct your course and you will start to understand how to do it correctly. That's what it was for me many times. I found that I was doing it incorrectly. When I first encountered self-inquiry, I was doing it incorrectly. But because I was just genuine in my approach, in really wanting to grasp it, but not through thought, simply by learning to just continue to practicing it, and I stayed consistent, then naturally I came to the realization of like what I was doing wrong from within. And then my practice corrected itself. So you have to see that like there's a different, greater, intuitive intelligence at play. It will guide you. You don't need to constantly go to thought for reassurance, which, by the way, it can only always give you false reassurance, never real. Just keep sticking with the practice. And this inner intuitive guidance, which I actually call your inner guru, your real teacher, it will continue to correct your course and bringing you to the essence of what your practice needs to be. All right. So let's talk about our last thing. And this is perhaps the main thing that I see everybody struggle with, because it is hard. But the main obstacle that most people struggle with is consistency. Maybe you're also smiling because this is something you've also struggled with. We desire the greatest results from our meditation practice. We want everything to change. We want to no longer suffer. We want to become free from compulsive thinking. We want to know our true nature. All of these big things. But we don't want to practice. We don't want to sit and stop doing for a few moments every day. There's so many things we do every single day. There's so many things that you're consistent with because you know it's good for you and you know that it's just a necessary part of your life, such as bathing, eating, working, resting, cooking, all these things. You know them to be a valuable part of your day. You know that you need them to survive. You need them for your well-being. You feel that you don't need meditation for your well-being, especially in the beginning when you just start practicing, but you really do. If anything, meditation is perhaps the most important thing you can do during your day, because it is helping you reach the highest goal of life, which is self-realization. Everything else you do in your life has relative importance, personally, but ultimately, it is all a mirage. It is all a passing, phenomenal experience. Passing, coming and going. Soon it will no longer exist. Meditation is helping you realize that which is impermanent. With that which is truly permanent, changeless. That which is true, not impermanent. So meditation is the most important, most urgent thing you can do every day. But we don't want to practice. We want all of its benefits. We want to pursue the truth. We want to know our true self. But the ego is lazy and the ego fears its own destruction. So it will do everything and come up with the most cunning ways and theories and methods to avoid it, to avoid silence. Because silence is literally its end. But silence has within it all the things you seek from life, even personally. Personally, what do you want? You want happiness, you want peace, you want well being. And you do it a million things every day, constantly, chaotically running after peace, happiness, well being in things, neglecting their source. None of these things, peace, happiness, well being, can be achieved on the outside if you do not discover that within, which is its source within you. Meditation is the most urgent thing you can do, most beneficial thing you can do every day. Not only from it will your entire spiritual progress flow, everything else, all other spiritual practices become simpler. It is the foundation. But also, all things personal will also flow from your practice. So the only mistake that you can truly be making with meditation is that you are not practicing, or you're practicing once every now and then when you feel really stressed. So it's like life has to become so painful for you to agree to practice. No, you must practice every day, regardless of how you feel, regardless of if you feel good or bad, because only then you will start to transcend the good and bad, the pleasant and the unpleasant, pleasure and pain. Otherwise, we remain a slave to pleasure and pain, constantly chasing pleasure, avoiding pain, regardless of where you are in your life right now. And especially if this message is finding you, because there's a reason you clicked on this video. This message is meant for you right now. Take this as an urgent call to stay consistent with your practice. Without consistency, you can make as much effort, but you will not mature in your understanding, in your practice. You can have one great meditation session every month, right? But it's like, or every week, or even every few days. But it's like, because you're not being consistent, you will not mature. The rest, you'll just be caught up in the world, in chasing the next experience, in personal concern. So people come up with all sorts of resistances. Hey, no, Sunny, I practice when I'm walking. I practice when I'm driving. Or I practice when I'm right before I'm about to go to sleep. These are all expressions of the immature mind who doesn't yet see the value in silence and the need of it. You have to notice your addiction to doing. You have to notice your addiction to stimulation, sensual stimulation, to thinking. That's why you don't want to meditate. I had plenty of this. I ran away from meditation for a long time. Eventually, I became consistent. When I became consistent, there was no going back, because truly, once you become consistent and you get over that hurdle where it's really hard, there comes a time where you start to see, oh, this is why we meditate. And then silence starts to call you so deeply. That's what I call becoming inward turned. When we begin this practice, when we begin spirituality, we're so outward. And all we want is just, oh, I want to gain for this person more pleasure, more pleasure. I want more status, more money, more, approval from society. We do want the same peace and happiness, and we want to know ourselves. We want to know the truth, but we're trying to seek it in world. but it cannot provide us that because the world is a passing experience. It is illusion. So as you become consistent with your practice, naturally you will start to feel an even stronger inward pull away from illusion towards truth, self, God. And then it will become more and more effortless for you to actually sit down and you will feel the need of it. The more inward turned you become, the more like you'll start to find that without silence, worldly life is totally exhausting. And it just like, it feels like a lifeless place. All life, beauty, truth flows from within. So you need to seek its source. And for that, you meditate. Consistency is the way. Genuine effort and doing your best, along with consistency. Okay. If you are struggling with consistency, I will encourage you again, join our free community. Over there, you can connect with so many other people who are genuine seekers of truth and are practicing and overcoming the same obstacles as you. And over there, you'll find also tons of resources that will help you with your practice and bringing more and more depth to it. And over there, you'll be able to ask me questions, other people questions. It's a great place where we can all come together. So those are the three things. Just to summarize, number one, the main obstacle is searching for something big to happen. No, meditation is not about that. Just stick to the practice. The results are not your job. Number two, constantly worrying about if you're doing it correctly. It is totally against the practice. Work on the level of attention. Keep directing your attention to your anchor. And number three, not practicing consistently. Don't think this is just going to happen for you. The ego is very lazy. It doesn't want to do anything, but it wants to achieve the world. It wants to receive all the benefits. Make a consistent practice. Once in the morning for 20 minutes, once in the evening for 20 minutes, regardless of what anybody says, regardless of whatever your mind says, make it happen. Start making it happen through discipline and will until you naturally start getting called to it inwardly and you start to really understand why you are meditating even more and start to just like fall in love with silence. Then you will not need discipline. You will not need will. You will genuinely love it and you will look forward to your sessions. All right. I hope this video helped you today. Please let me know what you think of it. You can comment down below the main takeaway from today's video and also share with us any question you may have about it. Thank you again for watching. I'll see you next time.